Welcome to this space of rest, this moment of peace, this journey into understanding. As you settle into wherever you are right now, finding your most comfortable position, allowing your body to be held by whatever surface supports you, know that you've arrived at exactly the right place, at exactly the right time. Tonight, you don't need to do anything. You don't need to achieve anything, fix anything, or become anything other than what you already are. You are invited simply to listen, to rest, and to allow yourself to be carried by these words like a leaf floating gently down a quiet stream. We're about to embark on a journey together, a journey through the landscape of your own mind, exploring one of humanity's most profound questions. Why does meditation calm the brain? What happens in those quiet moments of awareness that bring such deep peace? What changes occur in the intricate universe within your skull when you simply pause, breathe, and pay attention? For thousands of years, contemplatives and mystics spoke of meditation's power to transform suffering into peace, agitation into calm, confusion into clarity. They knew from direct experience that something profound happened when the mind became still. But they could only describe what they felt, not explain the mechanisms beneath. Now, in this remarkable moment in human history, ancient wisdom and modern science are finally meeting. Neuroscientists can peer into the living brain, watching in real time as meditation reshapes neural pathways, rebalances brain chemistry, and literally changes the structure of consciousness itself. What was once mystery is becoming understanding. But this isn't just abstract science. This is about you, about your brain, about the 3 pounds of soft tissue cradled within your skull that creates your entire experience of being alive. Every thought you've ever had, every emotion you've felt, every memory you cherish, every dream that dances through your sleep, all of it emerges from the delicate electrochemical dance of your neurons. And here's the beautiful truth we'll explore together tonight. Your brain is not fixed. It's not a machine stamped out in childhood, running the same programs forever. Your brain is alive, responsive, constantly reshaping itself based on where you place your attention, how you respond to experience, what practices you choose to cultivate. Meditation is one of the most powerful tools ever discovered for guiding this reshaping toward greater calm, clarity, and compassion. And tonight, you don't even need to meditate in any formal way. Simply by listening, by resting here in gentle awareness, you're already beginning to experience some of meditation's gifts. Over the hours ahead, we'll travel together through your brain's magnificent architecture. We'll discover how a single conscious breath activates ancient pathways of calm. We'll explore how regular meditation actually changes the size and density of brain regions, sculpting your neural landscape like water-shaped stone. We'll understand why stress melts away, why emotional storms settle, why the racing mind finally finds rest. This isn't a lecture or a lesson. Think of it as a bedtime story, one that happens to be true. A story about you, about your incredible potential for transformation, about the peace that's always been available, waiting patiently within. You might fall asleep early in this journey, and that's perfect. Your unconscious mind will continue listening, integrating, allowing these truths to become part of you even as you rest. Or you might find yourself drifting in that beautiful space between waking and sleeping, absorbing these words like soil absorbs gentle rain. There's no right way to experience what follows. Some facts might fascinate you, others might wash over you like waves. Some moments might bring insight, others simple comfort. All of it is exactly as it should be. So take a deep breath now. Feel your body settling even more completely into rest. Notice the gentle rise and fall of your breathing, the quiet beating of your heart, the stillness of this moment. You are safe. You are held. You are exactly where you need to be. And now, let us begin this gentle exploration of why meditation calms the brain, discovering together the neuroscience of peace, the biology of awareness, and the profound truth that transformation is not only possible, it's happening right now, with every breath you take. Let's journey together into the quiet wisdom of your own magnificent mind. Tonight, as you settle into comfort and allow your body to sink deeper into rest, we're going on a gentle journey together. A journey not through space, but through the quiet landscape of your own mind, discovering why meditation brings such profound calm to the brain, and how this ancient practice has shaped human consciousness for thousands of years. Let's begin where all meditation begins, with a single breath. As you breathe in now, something remarkable happens in your brain. The moment you bring conscious awareness to your breathing, you activate your prefrontal cortex, the most evolved part of your brain, the part that makes you uniquely human. This simple act of noticing your breath creates a cascade of neurological events that scientists are only now beginning to fully understand. Your breath connects to a small cluster of neurons in your brainstem called the pre-Botzinger complex. These neurons have been firing automatically since the moment you were born, sustaining your life without any conscious effort. But when you choose to observe your breathing during meditation, you create a bridge between your automatic nervous system and your conscious mind. This bridge is one of the first pathways to calm. As you continue breathing, your brain begins to shift its electrical patterns. Throughout your day, your brain produces beta waves, rapid oscillations that accompany focused thinking, problem solving, and active engagement with the world. These waves typically cycle between 12 and 30 times per second, keeping you alert and responsive. But now, as you relax into this moment, those beta waves are beginning to slow. Within just a few minutes of meditation, your brain starts producing alpha waves instead. These slower waves, cycling between 8 and 12 times per second, are associated with a state of calm alertness. It's the same pattern your brain creates when you're peacefully gazing at a sunset or enjoying a quiet moment in nature. This shift from beta to alpha is your brain's way of telling your body that it's safe to relax. But there's something even more profound happening beneath the surface. Deep within your brain, in an almond-shaped structure called the amygdala, change is already beginning. The amygdala is your brain's alarm system, constantly scanning for threats and triggering your fight or flight response when danger appears. In modern life, this ancient guardian often works overtime, responding to emails and deadlines as though they were predators in the wilderness. Research has shown that people who meditate regularly actually have a smaller amygdala than those who don't. This doesn't mean meditators are less safe. It means their alarm system has been recalibrated. After just 8 weeks of regular meditation practice, Studies show that the amygdala shrinks in size while simultaneously becoming less reactive to stressful stimuli. Your brain is literally reshaping itself to experience more calm. At the same time, another region of your brain is growing stronger. The hippocampus, your brain's memory center and emotional regulator, increases in gray matter density with meditation practice. This seahorse-shaped structure helps you form new memories and provides crucial feedback to calm down your amygdala when threats aren't real. As your hippocampus grows, you become better at distinguishing between actual danger and mere discomfort, between true emergencies and passing worries. This process of reshaping the brain is called neuroplasticity, and it's one of the most exciting discoveries in modern neuroscience. For centuries, scientists believed that adult brains were fixed and unchangeable. But we now know that your brain is constantly rewiring itself based on your experiences and practices. Meditation is one of the most powerful tools for directing this change toward greater calm and well-being. As you rest here, your brain is also adjusting its chemistry. When you meditate, your brain reduces its production of cortisol, the primary stress hormone. Cortisol is useful in short bursts, helping you respond to genuine threats. But chronic elevation keeps your body in a constant state of tension. Regular meditation can lower baseline cortisol levels by up to 50%, allowing your entire system to find a deeper baseline of calm. Simultaneously, meditation increases your brain's production of GABA, gamma-aminobutyric acid, your brain's primary calming neurotransmitter. GABA works like a natural tranquilizer, slowing down neural firing and creating a sense of peace. People with anxiety disorders often have low GABA levels, which is why meditation can be particularly beneficial for anxious minds. Each moment of mindful awareness helps restore this crucial chemical balance. Your brain is also releasing more serotonin during meditation, the neurotransmitter associated with feelings of well-being and contentment. Serotonin doesn't create artificial happiness, rather, it stabilizes your mood and helps you maintain emotional equilibrium. Studies show that meditation can increase serotonin production by enhancing activity in your prefrontal cortex, which helps regulate the brainstem regions where serotonin is produced. There's another fascinating change happening in your brain right now. The default mode network, a collection of brain regions that activate when your mind wanders, is beginning to quiet down. This network is responsible for self-referential thinking, the endless internal narrative of me, my mind that can sometimes feel exhausting. It's the voice that replays past conversations and rehearses future scenarios. When you meditate, the default mode network becomes less active and less connected. This is why experienced meditators often report a decreased sense of separation between themselves and the world around them. The boundaries of the self become less rigid, less defended. This isn't a loss of identity but rather an expansion of it, a recognition that you are part of something larger than your individual thoughts and concerns. At the same time, meditation strengthens the connections in your brain's salience network, which helps you determine what deserves your attention and what can be safely ignored. In our modern world of constant notifications and endless information, this ability to filter what matters is increasingly precious. Meditation teaches your brain to focus on what's relevant in the present moment while letting go of the rest. Perhaps most remarkably, meditation affects your brain's insula, a region that processes both physical sensations from your body and emotional awareness. The insula is like a bridge between your body and mind, helping you understand what you're feeling both physically and emotionally. Regular meditation increases the thickness of the insula, enhancing your ability to read your own internal states with clarity and compassion. This improved interoception, the ability to sense what's happening inside your body, is one reason why meditators often feel more grounded and centered. You become better at noticing when tension is building before it becomes overwhelming, when hunger is genuine rather than emotional, when fatigue is asking you to rest. Your brain becomes a more sensitive instrument for living. As you continue to relax, your breath naturally slows, and this creates another profound effect in your brain. Slow breathing activates your vagus nerve, a wandering pathway that connects your brain to your heart, lungs, and digestive system. The vagus nerve is the primary channel of your parasympathetic nervous system, your body's rest and digest mode. When the vagus nerve is stimulated through slow, deep breathing, it sends signals back to your brain that everything is safe. Your heart rate slows, your blood pressure decreases, and your brain receives the message that it can release its vigilance. This creates a positive feedback loop where calm breathing creates brain calm, which enables even calmer breathing. Scientists measure vagal tone, the strength and health of your vagus nerve, and they've found that people who meditate regularly have significantly higher vagal tone. Higher vagal tone is associated with better emotional regulation, stronger social connections, and greater resilience in the face of stress. Your meditation practice is literally strengthening the biological pathways of calm. The brain waves we mentioned earlier continue to slow as meditation deepens. After alpha waves come theta waves, cycling between 4 and 8 times per second. Theta waves typically appear during light sleep and deep meditation, creating a state of profound relaxation while maintaining awareness. In this state, your conscious mind and unconscious mind begin to communicate more freely. Theta states are associated with creativity, insight, and the integration of experiences. This is why solutions to problems often arise during meditation, not through active thinking but through a kind of spacious allowing. Your brain is making connections between previously separate pieces of information, finding patterns and possibilities that the busy conscious mind might miss. For some deep meditators, the brain waves slow even further into delta waves, the slowest brain waves of all, cycling between 0.5 and 4 times per second. Delta waves are usually associated with deep, dreamless sleep, but advanced meditators can access these states while maintaining full awareness. This profound state of conscious rest allows the deepest levels of healing and restoration. Your brain's energy consumption also changes during meditation. Normally, your brain uses about 20% of your body's total energy despite being only 2% of your body weight. This enormous energy demand is one reason why stress and overthinking can feel so exhausting. During meditation, while your prefrontal cortex actually becomes more active, your overall brain metabolism can decrease, allowing your neural networks to rest and recover. This metabolic rest is different from sleep. During sleep, certain brain regions shut down while others activate to process memories and consolidate learning. During meditation, your brain maintains awareness while using energy more efficiently, like switching from a gas-guzzling engine to a hybrid system. This allows deep rest while preserving consciousness. Another profound change occurs in your brain's perception of time. The parietal lobe, particularly on the left side of your brain, helps create your sense of being a separate self located in space and time. During deep meditation, activity in this region decreases, which is why experienced meditators often report that time seems to slow down or even disappear. Hours can pass in what feels like minutes. This altered time perception isn't just a subjective experience, it reflects real changes in how your brain processes sequential information. When you're fully present in the moment, your brain stops constantly referencing the past and projecting into the future. The endless timeline that usually structures your experience collapses into a spacious now. Your brain's pain processing centers also respond to meditation in remarkable ways. The anterior cingulate cortex and the insula, both involved in pain perception, show altered activity during meditation. Studies have found that meditation can reduce pain intensity by up to 40% and pain unpleasantness by up to 57%, effects that rival or exceed many pain medications. This doesn't mean meditation makes physical sensations disappear. Rather, it changes your relationship to discomfort. Your brain learns to observe sensations without immediately creating a story of suffering around them. Pain becomes sensation, no longer amplified by layers of fear, resistance, and catastrophic thinking. The raw data of experience remains, but the emotional reactivity diminishes. Meditation also affects your brain's reward centers, particularly the nucleus accumbens and the ventral striatum. These regions process pleasure, motivation, and reward. Chronic stress and anxiety can dysregulate these systems, leading to anhedonia, the inability to experience pleasure. Meditation helps restore healthy functioning to reward circuits, allowing you to experience joy and satisfaction more fully. Interestingly, meditation also reduces activity in these reward centers in response to anticipation, which is why regular meditators often report less craving and addiction. Your brain becomes less driven by the promise of future pleasure and more capable of appreciating present experience. This shift can fundamentally change your relationship to habits, desires, and compulsions. The corpus callosum, the thick bundle of nerve fibers connecting your brain's left and right hemispheres, also shows increased integrity in long-term meditators. This enhanced connectivity allows better communication between the analytical, language-oriented left hemisphere and the holistic, spatial right hemisphere. You become more able to integrate logical thinking with intuitive knowing, creating more balanced perspective. Your brain's neurogenesis, the creation of new neurons, also appears to be enhanced by meditation. While we generate new neurons throughout our lives, particularly in the hippocampus, this process can be suppressed by chronic stress. Meditation creates optimal conditions for neurogenesis, helping your brain maintain its capacity for learning, memory, and adaptation throughout your lifespan. The glymphatic system, your brain's waste removal system becomes more efficient with meditation. This system, discovered only in recent years, clears metabolic debris and toxic proteins from your brain, protecting against neurodegeneration. While it's most active during sleep, meditation enhances its function during waking hours, helping keep your neural environment clean and healthy. Meditation also influences your brain's inflammatory responses. Chronic inflammation in the brain is associated with depression, anxiety, and cognitive decline. Studies show that meditation can reduce inflammatory markers both in the brain and throughout the body. This isn't through direct chemical intervention, but through changes in gene expression, the way your DNA is read and translated into proteins. This brings us to one of the most profound discoveries about meditation. It actually changes which genes are turned on or off in your cells. Genes associated with inflammation and stress response become less active, while genes associated with immune function and cellular health become more active. Your meditation practice is literally reaching down to the level of your DNA, influencing how your genetic potential is expressed. The telomeres at the ends of your chromosomes, which protect your genetic information like the plastic tips on shoelaces, appear to be preserved by meditation. Telomeres naturally shorten with age and stress, but meditation seems to slow this process. In one study, meditation retreat participants showed a 30% increase in telomerase, the enzyme that maintains telomere length. Your meditation is potentially slowing cellular aging. Your brain's mirror neurons, which fire both when you perform an action and when you observe someone else performing it, also respond to meditation. These neurons are crucial for empathy and social connection. Meditation, particularly loving-kindness practices, enhances mirror neuron activity, increasing your capacity to understand and resonate with others' experiences. Your brain becomes more attuned to the shared nature of human experience. The rhythms of your brain also synchronize during meditation. Different brain regions begin oscillating at similar frequencies, creating coherence across your neural networks. This synchronization is like an orchestra finding its rhythm, with previously disconnected sections beginning to play together in harmony. This coherence is associated with feelings of integration, wholeness, and inner peace. Meditation affects your brain's processing of self and other in profound ways. The medial prefrontal cortex, involved in self-referential thinking, shows decreased activity during meditation. Meanwhile, regions associated with present moment awareness become more active. This shift from self-focus to present focus is one way meditation reduces anxiety and rumination, which are almost always about protecting or enhancing a sense of separate self. Your brain's capacity for attention itself is transformed by meditation. The anterior cingulate cortex, crucial for maintaining focus and detecting conflict between competing responses, becomes stronger with regular practice. Studies show that even brief periods of meditation training can improve sustained attention, selective attention, and the ability to notice when your mind has wandered. This enhanced attention isn't rigid or strained. Rather, it's a relaxed alertness, a quality of awareness that can hold experience lightly without grasping or pushing away. Your brain learns a new way of being attentive, one that doesn't create fatigue or tension. This effortless attention is one of meditation's greatest gifts. The cerebellum, traditionally associated with motor coordination, also changes with meditation. We now know the cerebellum is involved in emotional regulation and cognitive processing as well. Meditation increases gray matter in the cerebellum, potentially enhancing not just physical coordination but also emotional balance and mental agility. Your brain's response to emotional stimuli becomes more balanced through meditation. The prefrontal cortex strengthens its regulatory connections to the amygdala, giving you more choice in how you respond to emotional triggers. Rather than being hijacked by automatic reactions, you gain a pause, a space between stimulus and response where wisdom can arise. This emotional regulation doesn't mean suppressing feelings. Instead, meditation helps your brain process emotions more completely. Rather than avoiding difficult emotions or becoming overwhelmed by them, you develop the capacity to experience emotions fully while maintaining perspective. Feelings arise, are felt, and naturally dissolve when they're met with accepting awareness. Meditation also affects your brain's production of dopamine, the neurotransmitter associated with motivation and reward. While dopamine is often called the pleasure chemical, it's actually more about motivation and seeking. Meditation helps balance dopamine function, reducing compulsive seeking while maintaining healthy motivation. You become less driven by restless desire and more capable of sustained, meaningful engagement. The thalamus, your brain's sensory relay station, shows enhanced connectivity with the prefrontal cortex during meditation. This improved connection allows better filtering and integration of sensory information. You become less overwhelmed by sensory input and more capable of choosing what deserves your attention. The world becomes less chaotic, not because it has changed, but because your brain processes it more skillfully. Your brain's response to uncertainty also shifts with meditation. The anterior insula and anterior cingulate cortex, which activate in response to unpredictability, show reduced reactivity in experienced meditators. This doesn't mean ignoring genuine risks, but rather not amplifying natural uncertainty into chronic anxiety. Your brain becomes more comfortable with not knowing, more at ease with the fundamental groundlessness of existence. Meditation cultivates what neuroscientists call meta-awareness, the ability to be aware of your own awareness. This is mediated by regions in the prefrontal cortex that monitor your mental states. As meta-awareness strengthens, you become better at catching yourself in unhelpful thought patterns and gently redirecting attention. You develop an inner observer that watches the mind with compassionate curiosity rather than harsh judgment. The social circuits of your brain also benefit from meditation. The temporoparietal junction, involved in perspective taking and theory of mind, shows enhanced activity in meditators. You become better at understanding others' viewpoints and recognizing that different people have different experiences and perspectives. This enhanced social cognition makes relationships easier and more fulfilling. Interestingly, meditation affects your brain's default response to boredom. Modern brains, conditioned by constant stimulation, often react to quiet moments with restlessness or discomfort. Meditation retrains these circuits, teaching your brain that stillness isn't threatening or empty but rather rich with subtle experience. The discomfort of boredom diminishes as your brain learns to find interest in simplicity. Your brain's stress reactivity continues to change over time with regular practice. The hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis, your primary stress response system, becomes less easily triggered and quicker to return to baseline after activation. Your brain maintains the ability to respond to genuine emergencies while becoming less reactive to minor stressors. Life's small annoyances truly become smaller. As meditation becomes a regular practice, structural changes in your brain stabilize and deepen. The prefrontal cortex, hippocampus, and other regions associated with awareness and regulation continue to develop increased cortical thickness. These changes aren't temporary states but lasting traits, shifts in your brain's basic structure that persist even when you're not meditating. The immune function of your brain also benefits from meditation. Microglia, your brain's immune cells, become less inflammatory and more efficient at clearing debris and supporting healthy neurons. This creates an environment where your brain cells can thrive, protected from excessive inflammation while receiving appropriate immune support. Your brain's relationship to memory shifts in subtle ways through meditation. While the hippocampus strengthens, improving memory formation, meditation also reduces the tendency to ruminate on past events. Your brain maintains healthy access to memories without becoming trapped in repetitive reminiscence. The past becomes available without being overwhelming. Similarly, meditation changes your brain's relationship to the future. The prefrontal cortex regions involved in planning and anticipation remain functional, but the anxious, compulsive quality of future-focused thinking diminishes. You can plan tomorrow's activities without losing today's presence. Your brain learns to hold future concerns lightly while remaining grounded in now. The sense of self constructed by your brain becomes more flexible through meditation. While maintaining functional identity, the rigid boundaries between self and other soften. This isn't confusion or dissolution, but rather a recognition that the self is a process, not a fixed thing. Your brain relaxes its constant work of defending and promoting a separate self, allowing more energy for simply being. As you rest here, all these changes are potentially available to you, not as achievements to strive for but as natural expressions of a relaxed, aware mind. Your brain already knows how to calm itself. Meditation simply removes the obstacles we've unconsciously placed in the way. Each breath, each moment of gentle awareness, allows your brain's innate wisdom to emerge. The journey through your brain's meditation response could continue endlessly, revealing ever more subtle layers of calm and awareness. But perhaps what matters most is right here, right now, this breath, this moment, this natural ease that's always available when we stop struggling and simply allow ourselves to be. As you drift towards sleep, know that your brain is already transformed by these moments of awareness. The seeds of calm have been planted, and they will continue to grow even as you sleep, creating new pathways of peace that will serve you tomorrow and all your days ahead. Rest now, knowing your brain knows exactly how to heal, how to restore, how to find its natural balance. Trust in the process, surrender to the present moment, and allow sleep to come when it's ready, wrapped in the gentle understanding of why meditation calms the brain. And in this understanding, may you find the deepest rest. As you continue resting here, breathing softly, there are still more wonders to discover about how meditation shapes your brain and brings lasting calm to your entire being. Let's journey deeper still, exploring the subtle and profound ways that this ancient practice continues to work its gentle magic on your neural landscape. Your brain's glial cells, which outnumber neurons by about 10 to 1, also respond to meditation in fascinating ways. For years, scientists thought glial cells were simply support structures, the scaffolding that held neurons in place. But we now know they're active participants in brain function, communicating with neurons and each other, regulating the flow of information throughout your brain. Meditation influences astrocytes, star-shaped glial cells that maintain the chemical environment around neurons and help form the blood-brain barrier. These cells become more efficient at clearing excess neurotransmitters and supporting healthy synaptic function. Your meditation practice is creating an optimal environment where every neuron can function at its best, supported by these diligent cellular caretakers. Oligodendrocytes, another type of glial cell, produce myelin, the fatty insulation that wraps around neural axons and speeds up signal transmission. Meditation appears to enhance myelination in key brain circuits, particularly those involved in attention and emotional regulation. Your brain's communication networks become faster and more efficient, like upgrading from old copper wires to fiber optic cables. The blood flow in your brain also changes during meditation. Cerebral blood flow increases to regions involved in attention and body awareness while decreasing to areas associated with stress and anxiety. This isn't just a temporary shift. Regular meditation creates lasting changes in your brain's vascular system, ensuring that calm-promoting regions receive optimal nourishment while overactive stress circuits quiet down. Your brain's energy metabolism shifts in remarkable ways during meditation. While glucose is typically the brain's primary fuel, meditation can enhance your brain's ability to use ketones, an alternative energy source produced when you're relaxed. This metabolic flexibility is associated with improved brain resilience and protection against age-related cognitive decline. Your meditation is teaching your brain to be adaptable at the most fundamental level. The circadian rhythms that govern your sleep-wake cycle are also influenced by meditation. The suprachiasmatic nucleus, your brain's master clock located in the hypothalamus, shows improved regulation in people who meditate regularly. This helps synchronize your sleep patterns, making it easier to fall asleep at night and wake feeling refreshed in the morning. Your meditation practice is literally helping reset your body's natural rhythms. Meditation affects the production of melatonin, the hormone that regulates sleep. Studies show that regular meditators produce melatonin earlier in the evening and maintain higher levels throughout the night. This isn't about forcing sleep, but rather allowing your brain's natural sleep mechanisms to function optimally. As you meditate, you're strengthening the very systems that will carry you into restorative sleep tonight and every night. The pineal gland, a small pine cone-shaped structure deep in your brain, is profoundly affected by meditation. Ancient traditions called this the third eye or the seat of the soul, and modern science has discovered it's responsible for melatonin production and may play a role in consciousness itself. During meditation, blood flow to the pineal gland increases, and some researchers believe this may contribute to the expanded states of awareness that meditators report. Your brain's pH balance, the acidity or alkalinity of its environment, is also influenced by meditation. Stress creates acidic conditions in the brain, which can impair neural function and contribute to mental fog. Meditation helps restore optimal pH balance, creating an environment where neurons fire efficiently and clear thinking emerges naturally. Your mental clarity isn't just psychological, it's biochemical. The electrochemical gradients across your neurons' membranes, essential for neural firing, become more stable with meditation. Neurons communicate through precisely orchestrated electrical impulses, and this requires maintaining delicate ion balances of sodium, potassium, calcium, and chloride. Meditation helps your brain maintain these critical balances, ensuring efficient and accurate neural communication throughout your entire nervous system. Your brain's antioxidant systems are enhanced by meditation. Free radicals, unstable molecules that damage cellular structures, are produced naturally during brain metabolism, but excessive free radicals contribute to aging and neurodegeneration. Meditation increases the production of antioxidant enzymes like superoxide dismutase and catalase, which neutralize free radicals before they can cause harm. Your meditation is protecting your brain at the molecular level. The brain-derived neurotrophic factor, or BDNF, a protein crucial for neural health and growth, increases with regular meditation. BDNF acts like fertilizer for your brain, promoting the growth of new neurons, strengthening synaptic connections, and protecting existing neurons from damage. Low BDNF levels are associated with depression and anxiety, while meditation helps restore and maintain optimal levels, supporting mental health from the ground up. Meditation influences your brain's endocannabinoid system, the same system affected by cannabis but through entirely natural means. Your brain produces its own cannabinoids, such as anandamide, sometimes called the bliss molecule. Meditation increases anandamide levels, creating feelings of ease and well-being without any external substances. Your brain has its own pharmacy, and meditation helps access these natural medicines. The gut-brain axis, the bidirectional communication highway between your digestive system and brain, is profoundly affected by meditation. Your gut contains hundreds of millions of neurons, sometimes called the second brain, and produces much of your body's serotonin. Meditation reduces gut inflammation and supports healthy gut bacteria, which in turn send calming signals back to your brain. The peace you feel isn't just in your head, it's a whole body phenomenon. Your brain's perception of your body, mapped in the somatosensory cortex, becomes more refined through meditation. This strip of brain tissue contains a distorted map of your body called the homunculus, with more space devoted to sensitive areas like hands and face. Meditation enhances the resolution of this body map, making you more aware of subtle sensations and better able to distinguish between different types of physical experience. The motor cortex, which plans and executes movement, also shows changes with meditation, even though meditation often involves sitting still. This might seem paradoxical, but the motor cortex is intimately connected with the premotor cortex and supplementary motor area, regions involved in planning and imagining movement. Meditation enhances the integration of these areas, improving the mind-body connection and making all movement more fluid and intentional. Your brain's vestibular system, which processes balance and spatial orientation, is influenced by meditation in subtle ways. The vestibular nuclei in your brainstem integrate information from your inner ear, eyes, and proprioceptive sensors throughout your body. Meditation enhances this integration, creating a more stable sense of physical groundedness. This is one reason why meditators often describe feeling more centered and balanced, even when facing life's challenges. The locus coeruleus, a small nucleus in your brainstem that produces norepinephrine, shows altered function with meditation. Norepinephrine is involved in alertness, attention, and stress responses. During meditation, the locus coeruleus maintains optimal activity levels, enough to keep you aware but not so much that you become agitated. This balance is crucial for the state of relaxed alertness that characterizes meditation. Your brain's response to novelty and familiarity shifts with meditation practice. The dopaminergic pathways that respond to new stimuli become less reactive, while your capacity to find interest in familiar experiences increases. This reverses the brain's typical tendency toward habituation, where repeated experiences become less engaging. Meditators often report that ordinary experiences become fresh and interesting again, as though seeing the world with new eyes. The claustrum, one of the brain's most mysterious structures, may play a role in meditation's effects on consciousness. This thin sheet of neurons tucked beneath the cerebral cortex has connections to virtually every other brain region and may help bind different aspects of experience into unified consciousness. While still poorly understood, the claustrum shows altered activity during meditation, possibly contributing to the unified, integrated awareness that practitioners describe. Meditation affects your brain's processing of language and thought. Wernicke's area and Broca's area, the primary language centers, show reduced activity during meditation, particularly during practices that emphasize nonverbal awareness. This quieting of language circuits corresponds to the decreased internal chatter that meditators experience. The endless stream of words that usually narrates your life naturally settles, revealing the wordless awareness beneath. Your brain's semantic networks, the webs of associated meanings that connect concepts and ideas, become more flexible with meditation. You become less trapped in rigid mental categories and more able to see things from multiple perspectives. This cognitive flexibility enhances creativity and problem-solving, allowing novel connections to emerge between previously separate domains of knowledge. The brain's pruning processes, which eliminate unnecessary neural connections to improve efficiency, are optimized by meditation. Just as a gardener prunes plants to promote healthy growth, your brain constantly removes synapses that aren't being used. Meditation appears to guide this pruning wisely, preserving important connections while removing mental clutter. Your neural networks become more streamlined and efficient. Meditation influences the production of nerve growth factor, NGF, another crucial protein for brain health. NGF supports the survival and function of neurons, particularly in regions involved in learning and memory. By increasing NGF production, meditation helps ensure that your brain maintains its capacity to learn, adapt, and form new memories throughout your entire life. Your brain's stress inoculation improves with meditation. Just as vaccines train your immune system by exposing it to manageable challenges, meditation trains your stress response system by creating controlled experiences of calm. Over time, this training raises your stress threshold, so it takes more to activate your fight or flight response. You become more resilient, able to handle difficulties that once would have overwhelmed you. The neural oscillations in your brain, the rhythmic patterns of electrical activity, become more coherent and synchronized with regular meditation. Different frequency bands, delta, theta, alpha, beta, and gamma, begin to harmonize, creating complex patterns of neural coordination. This is particularly evident in gamma waves, the fastest brain waves associated with heightened awareness and moments of insight. Advanced meditators can sustain high-amplitude gamma oscillations, a state rarely seen in ordinary consciousness. Your brain's capacity for what scientists call cognitive reserve increases with meditation. Cognitive reserve is your brain's resilience against aging and disease, its ability to find alternative pathways when primary routes are damaged. People with high cognitive reserve maintain mental function even when brain imaging shows significant age-related changes. Meditation builds this reserve, creating redundancy and flexibility in your neural networks. The experience of time dilation during meditation involves changes in how your brain's internal clock operates. The basal ganglia and cerebellum, which help time sequential events, show altered activity during meditation. This creates the subjective experience of time slowing down or becoming elastic. When you're fully present, each moment expands, no longer compressed by the rush towards some future goal. Meditation affects your brain's processing of self-related information in profound ways. The cortical midline structures, including the medial prefrontal cortex and posterior cingulate cortex, typically activate when you think about yourself. These regions show decreased activity during meditation and reduced connectivity in long-term meditators. The sense of being a separate self, defended against a hostile world, naturally relaxes. Your brain's capacity for compassion and altruism is enhanced by meditation, particularly loving-kindness practices. The temporal parietal junction and the anterior insula, regions involved in empathy and emotional resonance, show increased activity during compassion meditation. This isn't just a pleasant feeling. It's a fundamental rewiring of how your brain relates to others' suffering and joy. The amygdala's connectivity patterns change with meditation. While the amygdala becomes smaller and less reactive, it also develops new connections to the prefrontal cortex, creating top-down regulation pathways. These new connections give you more conscious control over emotional responses. Fear and anxiety don't disappear, but you gain the ability to work with them skillfully rather than being controlled by them. Meditation influences your brain's response to pain through multiple mechanisms. The periaqueductal gray, a region that modulates pain signals traveling from body to brain, becomes more active during meditation. This endogenous pain control system can reduce pain intensity without eliminating the sensations that alert you to potential injury. You maintain protective awareness while reducing unnecessary suffering. Your brain's processing of visual information shifts during meditation with open eyes. The visual cortex maintains activity, but the higher-order processing areas that interpret and categorize visual input become less dominant. This allows a more direct, less conceptually filtered experience of seeing. Colors may appear more vivid, details more crisp, as the mind's usual tendency to quickly categorize and move on is suspended. The default mode network's activity patterns don't just decrease during meditation, they transform. Instead of the usual mind-wandering and self-referential thinking, the default mode network can shift into a state of open awareness, a kind of purposeful wandering that's creative rather than ruminative. This is one way meditation can enhance creativity while reducing anxiety. Meditation affects your brain's response to uncertainty and ambiguity. The anterior cingulate cortex, which typically activates when confronting conflicting information or unpredictable situations, shows reduced reactivity in experienced meditators. You become more comfortable with not knowing, with holding multiple possibilities without rushing to premature conclusions. This cognitive comfort with ambiguity enhances decision-making and reduces anxiety. Your brain's interhemispheric communication, the dialogue between left and right brain hemispheres, becomes more balanced through meditation. Western culture often emphasizes left hemisphere functions like language and linear thinking at the expense of right hemisphere strengths like holistic perception and intuition. Meditation strengthens the corpus callosum connections, allowing both hemispheres to contribute their unique gifts to your experience. The brain's salience network, which helps you determine what's important moment to moment, becomes more finely tuned with meditation. You become better at distinguishing between genuine priorities and mere urgencies, between what truly matters and what simply feels pressing. This enhanced salience detection helps you allocate attention and energy more wisely throughout your day. Meditation influences your brain's response to rewards and punishments through changes in the orbitofrontal cortex. This region helps you evaluate outcomes and adjust behavior accordingly. With meditation, the orbitofrontal cortex becomes less reactive to both positive and negative feedback, creating more emotional stability. Success doesn't inflate your ego as much, and failure doesn't devastate you as deeply. Your brain's capacity for what psychologists call decentering increases with meditation. Decentering is the ability to observe your thoughts and emotions as mental events rather than as necessarily true or requiring action. The dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, involved in cognitive control and reappraisal, strengthens its capacity to maintain this observing perspective. You gain freedom from the tyranny of every passing thought and feeling. The experience of flow states, those moments of optimal performance where action and awareness merge, becomes more accessible to meditators. The transient hypofrontality that characterizes flow, a temporary reduction in prefrontal cortex activity, shares some features with meditative states. Regular meditation may make it easier to access flow by training the brain to release executive control when appropriate. Meditation affects your brain's processing of social hierarchies and status concerns. The ventromedial prefrontal cortex, involved in social comparison and self-evaluation, shows reduced reactivity in meditators. You become less preoccupied with where you stand relative to others, less driven by status anxiety. This creates more authentic relationships based on genuine connection rather than competitive positioning. Your brain's capacity for mental imagery and visualization is enhanced by meditation. The precuneus, a region involved in visual imagery and self-referential processing, shows increased connectivity in meditators. This enhanced imagery capacity can be applied to creative endeavors, problem solving, or simply enriching your inner experience with vivid imagination. The brain's prediction error signals, which fire when reality doesn't match expectations, are processed differently by meditators. The anterior cingulate cortex responds to prediction errors with less alarm and more curiosity. Instead of experiencing the mismatch between expectation and reality as threatening, you become interested in the gap, learning from it rather than resisting it. Meditation influences your brain's response to social rejection and exclusion. The dorsal anterior cingulate cortex, which activates during social pain, shows reduced reactivity in meditators. While social connection remains important, your sense of well-being becomes less dependent on constant approval and inclusion. You develop an inner stability that doesn't require external validation. Your brain's autobiographical memory system, which stores your personal history and life story, becomes more flexible with meditation. The medial temporal lobe structures involved in autobiographical memory maintain their function, but you become less identified with your personal narrative. Your history informs you without imprisoning you in outdated self-concepts. The brain's extinction learning, the ability to overcome conditioned fear responses, is enhanced by meditation. When you've learned to fear something, whether through direct experience or observation, that fear can persist even when the threat is gone. Meditation strengthens the ventromedial prefrontal cortex's ability to inhibit fear responses, helping you update old learning and release unnecessary anxiety. Meditation affects your brain's processing of fairness and justice. The insular cortex, which responds to unfairness and inequality, maintains its sensitivity, but the emotional reactivity decreases. You remain aware of injustice and motivated to address it, but you're less likely to be overwhelmed by anger or cynicism. This creates sustainable engagement with social issues rather than burnout. Your brain's response to beauty and aesthetic experience is enhanced by meditation. The medial orbitofrontal cortex, which activates in response to beauty whether visual, auditory, or conceptual, shows increased reactivity in meditators. The ordinary world reveals more of its inherent beauty as your perception becomes less clouded by preoccupation and judgment. The brain's capacity for gratitude is strengthened by meditation. The anterior cingulate cortex and medial prefrontal cortex, involved in recognizing and appreciating positive aspects of experience, show enhanced activity during gratitude practices. This isn't forced positivity but rather a natural recognition of the goodness that's always present alongside difficulty. Meditation influences your brain's response to attachment and clinging. The ventral striatum and nucleus accumbens, involved in desire and attachment, become less reactive to objects of craving. You can appreciate pleasant experiences without desperately grasping to make them permanent, and you can allow unpleasant experiences to pass without fighting to make them disappear immediately. Your brain's sense of agency, the feeling that you're the author of your actions, is both maintained and transcended through meditation. The supplementary motor area and parietal cortex, involved in the sense of agency, function normally, but you also gain insight into the conditioned, impersonal nature of much behavior. This paradoxical understanding, that you're both responsible for your actions and not ultimately in control, brings wisdom and humility. The brain's integration of different sensory modalities improves with meditation. The superior colliculus and other multisensory integration areas coordinate input from sight, sound, touch, taste, and smell more effectively. This creates a richer, more unified sensory experience where different senses enhance rather than compete with each other. Meditation affects your brain's response to cognitive dissonance, the discomfort of holding contradictory beliefs or behaving in ways that contradict your values. The anterior cingulate cortex, which detects such conflicts, maintains its function, but the defensive reactions decrease. You become more able to acknowledge inconsistencies honestly rather than rationalizing them away. Your brain's capacity for what neuroscientists call second-order awareness increases with meditation. This is awareness of awareness itself, the ability to observe not just what you're experiencing but the fact that you're experiencing it. This metacognitive capacity, mediated by the frontopolar cortex, allows you to step back from experience without leaving it, creating a spacious relationship with all that arises. As these hours of gentle exploration draw toward their close, remember that every fact we've journeyed through is pointing to the same essential truth. Your brain is not a fixed machine but a living, responsive organ that reflects your experiences and practices. Meditation doesn't force change upon your brain. It creates conditions where your brain's natural wisdom and capacity for calm can fully emerge. The transformation we've explored isn't something you must achieve or earn. It's already available in this very moment, in this breath, in this gentle awareness that has carried you through these hours of discovery. Your brain knows how to heal, how to balance, how to find its way back to natural ease. As sleep begins to claim you, or as you rest in this twilight space between waking and dreaming, allow all these understandings to dissolve into wordless knowing. Your brain doesn't need to remember every detail consciously. The wisdom has already been absorbed, integrated into your neural networks, becoming part of who you are. Rest now in the recognition that by simply being here, breathing, aware, you've honored your brain's deepest nature. You've given it permission to release, to relax, to remember its fundamental capacity for peace. And in this remembering, in this gentle allowing, may you find the most profound rest, knowing that your brain and body are working in perfect harmony to restore, heal, and prepare you for whatever tomorrow brings. Sleep well, dear friend, wrapped in the quiet certainty that meditation's gifts are always available, that calm is always just a breath away, and that your brain holds infinite capacity for peace. May your rest be deep, your dreams be gentle, and your awakening be refreshed. And yet, even as we approach the threshold of sleep, there are still deeper layers to explore, more subtle wonders of how meditation transforms your brain and brings you into harmony with yourself. Let us continue this gentle journey, discovering how every moment of awareness ripples through your entire being. Your brain's acetylcholine system, crucial for attention and learning, undergoes profound changes with meditation. The basal forebrain, which produces acetylcholine and projects it throughout the cortex, shows enhanced function in regular meditators. This neurotransmitter sharpens perception and strengthens memory formation, helping you learn more efficiently while remaining present. Your meditation practice is optimizing the very chemistry of attention. The habenula, sometimes called the brain's anti-reward center, also responds to meditation. This small structure becomes active when expected rewards don't materialize, contributing to disappointment and depression. Regular meditation reduces habenular overactivity, helping you maintain equanimity when things don't go as planned. You become less dependent on outcomes, more able to find satisfaction in the process itself. Meditation influences your brain's response to existential concerns and mortality awareness. The temporoparietal junction and dorsomedial prefrontal cortex, which activate when contemplating death and meaning, show altered patterns in meditators. Rather than suppressing awareness of mortality, meditation helps you hold this awareness with less fear, allowing it to deepen rather than diminish your engagement with life. Your brain's capacity for what researchers call cognitive empathy versus emotional empathy becomes more balanced through meditation. Cognitive empathy, understanding others' perspectives, involves the temporoparietal junction, while emotional empathy, feeling others' emotions, involves the anterior insula. Meditation strengthens both while preventing the emotional overwhelm that can lead to empathic distress and compassion fatigue. The brain's cholinergic system extends beyond acetylcholine to include the parasympathetic nervous system. The vagus nerve, which we explored earlier, uses acetylcholine as its primary neurotransmitter. As meditation strengthens vagal tone, it simultaneously enhances cholinergic signaling throughout your body, creating a cascade of calming effects from brain to heart to gut. Meditation affects your brain's phospholipid composition, the fatty molecules that make up cell membranes. Healthy membrane composition is essential for efficient neural signaling and protection against oxidative stress. Meditation appears to optimize phospholipid metabolism, ensuring that every neuron's membrane maintains its fluidity and functionality. Your brain's cellular architecture becomes more resilient at the molecular level. Your brain's response to novelty-seeking and sensation-seeking shifts with meditation. The ventral tegmental area and substantia nigra, dopamine-producing regions that drive exploratory behavior, maintain their function but with less compulsive urgency. You can still enjoy new experiences without being driven by restless dissatisfaction with the present. Contentment and curiosity learn to coexist. The brain's processing of personal boundaries and interpersonal space is influenced by meditation. The posterior parietal cortex, which maintains your sense of where you end and others begin, shows altered activity during meditation. This doesn't create confusion about physical boundaries but rather a psychological softening, a recognition that separation and connection are both real and both limited truths about human existence. Meditation influences the brain's response to music and rhythm. The auditory cortex, superior temporal gyrus, and motor planning areas all show enhanced synchronization during and after meditation. Music becomes more than sound. It's felt throughout your entire being as your brain's enhanced sensitivity picks up subtleties previously unnoticed. Silence, too, becomes richer, revealing the symphony of subtle sounds usually drowned out by mental noise. Your brain's production of endorphins, the body's natural opioids, increases during meditation. The hypothalamus and pituitary gland release these molecules, which bind to receptors throughout your brain and body, creating natural pain relief and feelings of well-being. This is one reason why meditation can produce what's sometimes called meditation bliss, a natural high that requires no external substance. The brain's histamine system, involved in wakefulness and arousal, is also modulated by meditation. The tuberomammillary nucleus in the hypothalamus produces histamine, keeping you alert during the day. Meditation helps regulate this system so that you're appropriately awake when you need to be, but can also down-regulate histamine production when it's time to rest, facilitating easier transition into sleep. Meditation affects your brain's synaptic plasticity at the molecular level through changes in calcium signaling. Calcium ions entering neurons trigger biochemical cascades that strengthen or weaken synapses. Meditation optimizes these calcium dynamics, enhancing the brain's ability to strengthen useful connections while pruning less important ones. Every meditation session is literally reshaping your neural network at the synapse level. Your brain's capacity for absorptive states, complete immersion and experience, is enhanced by meditation. The posterior cingulate cortex and precuneus, involved in self-awareness and mental imagery, show patterns during meditation that resemble flow states and peak experiences. You become more able to lose yourself completely in activities, whether creative work, conversation, or simply watching clouds drift across the sky. The brain's processing of temporal sequences and episodic memory is influenced by meditation. The hippocampus not only grows denser but also becomes more efficient at distinguishing between similar memories and creating coherent narratives from separate experiences. Your life story becomes clearer, less confused by intrusive memories or gaps in recollection. Meditation affects your brain's response to social support and bonding. Oxytocin, often called the bonding hormone, shows increased production during loving-kindness meditation. The hypothalamus produces oxytocin, which then affects multiple brain regions involved in trust, empathy, and social connection. Your meditation practice is literally enhancing your capacity for intimate, authentic relationships. The brain's interpretation of ambiguous social cues becomes less negatively biased with meditation. The fusiform face area and superior temporal sulcus, involved in reading facial expressions and social signals, maintain their sensitivity while the amygdala's tendency to interpret ambiguity as threat decreases. You become more likely to give others the benefit of the doubt, seeing neutral expressions as neutral rather than hostile. Your brain's capacity for what psychologists call psychological flexibility increases dramatically with meditation. This is the ability to stay in contact with the present moment and choose behaviors based on values rather than automatic reactions. The prefrontal cortex and anterior cingulate cortex work together to create this flexibility, allowing you to respond to life's challenges with wisdom rather than mere reflex. Meditation influences your brain's production of brain-derived neurotrophic factor in region-specific ways. While BDNF increases overall, the hippocampus and prefrontal cortex show particularly strong increases. This targeted enhancement supports the exact regions most important for emotional regulation and learning, creating a virtuous cycle where meditation makes meditation itself more effective. The brain's glymphatic clearance becomes more efficient not just during meditation but also during subsequent sleep. By reducing stress and enhancing relaxation, meditation primes the glymphatic system to work optimally when you do fall asleep. The metabolic waste, including beta-amyloid proteins associated with Alzheimer's disease, is cleared more effectively, protecting your brain's long-term health. Your brain's white matter integrity, the quality of the myelin-wrapped connections between regions, improves with meditation. Diffusion tensor imaging studies show increased fractional anisotropy in white matter tracts, indicating healthier, more organized neural pathways. Information flows more efficiently throughout your brain, creating better integration between distant regions. Meditation affects your brain's response to hunger and satiety signals. The hypothalamus, arcuate nucleus, and insula work together to regulate appetite, and meditation helps restore healthy sensitivity to these signals. You become better at distinguishing physical hunger from emotional hunger, eating when your body needs nourishment and stopping when satisfied. The brain's processing of olfactory information, handled by the olfactory bulb and piriform cortex, is enhanced by meditation. Smell is the only sense with direct access to emotional and memory centers, bypassing the thalamus. Meditation's enhancement of olfactory processing may be one reason why scents seem richer during and after practice, and why pleasant aromas can more easily evoke positive states. Your brain's capacity for lucid dreaming increases with meditation practice. The frontopolar cortex and dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, which maintain awareness during dreams, show enhanced activity in meditators. This metacognitive skill, being aware that you're dreaming while still dreaming, shares mechanisms with the metacognitive awareness cultivated in meditation. Your practice carries into sleep itself. Meditation influences the brain's response to physical exercise and movement. The motor cortex and cerebellum, already enhanced by meditation, create more efficient movement patterns. Athletes who meditate often report improved performance not from training harder but from moving more efficiently, with less wasted energy and better coordination. The body and brain learn to work as a unified system. The brain's interpretation of interoceptive signals from internal organs becomes more accurate with meditation. The insular cortex receives information about heart rate, breathing, digestive activity, and other internal states. Meditation refines this processing, helping you accurately interpret what your body is telling you rather than misreading or ignoring these crucial signals. Your brain's response to learning and intellectual challenge shifts with meditation. The anterior prefrontal cortex, involved in complex reasoning and abstract thought, maintains its capacity while the performance anxiety typically associated with challenging tasks decreases. You become more willing to engage with difficult material because the fear of failure no longer triggers such strong threat responses. Meditation affects your brain's processing of rhythm and timing beyond music. The cerebellum and basal ganglia, which coordinate temporal processing, show enhanced precision in meditators. This improved timing affects everything from speech production to motor coordination to social interaction, where timing and rhythm are crucial for smooth communication. The brain's capacity for what neuroscientists call open monitoring meditation creates unique patterns of activity. Unlike focused attention practices that strengthen specific circuits, open monitoring distributes activation across the brain more evenly. This creates a panoramic awareness where nothing is excluded, everything is allowed into consciousness without preference or rejection. Your brain's mitochondria, the power plants inside each cell, function more efficiently with meditation. These organelles produce the ATP that fuels all cellular processes, and their health is crucial for brain function. Meditation reduces oxidative stress on mitochondria and may enhance their replication, ensuring your neurons have abundant energy for optimal function. Meditation influences your brain's response to physical pain through changes in the rostral anterior cingulate cortex. This region doesn't just process pain intensity but also the unpleasantness of pain, the suffering that accompanies sensation. By reducing activity in this area, meditation allows you to experience sensations without the added layer of psychological suffering. The brain's processing of grammar and syntax, usually automatic and unconscious, can be brought into awareness through meditation. The left inferior frontal gyrus, essential for language production, maintains its function while you gain insight into how language shapes thought. This awareness can free you from being completely imprisoned by linguistic categories and concepts. Your brain's capacity for what's called trait absorption, the stable tendency to become immersed in experience, increases with long-term meditation. This isn't the same as dissociation or losing touch with reality. Rather, it's the ability to be fully present without self-consciousness. The middle frontal gyrus and inferior parietal lobule show changes associated with this enhanced absorption. Meditation affects your brain's response to scarcity and abundance. The ventral striatum, which responds to resource availability, becomes less reactive to both deprivation and surplus. You can appreciate abundance without clinging to it and accept limitation without desperation. This neural equanimity creates psychological freedom from the constant push and pull of desire and aversion. The brain's interpretation of symbolic and metaphorical content is enhanced by meditation. The angular gyrus and other regions involved in abstract thinking show increased connectivity. You become better at understanding layers of meaning, seeing how one thing can represent another, how stories contain universal truths. This symbolic fluency enriches both creative expression and meaning-making. Your brain's microbiome interface, the communication between gut bacteria and brain, is optimized by meditation. The vagus nerve carries signals from gut bacteria to the brain, influencing mood, immunity, and even cognition. By reducing stress and inflammation, meditation creates conditions where beneficial bacteria thrive and send positive signals to your brain. Meditation influences your brain's response to color perception. The visual cortex processing of wavelengths remains constant, but the subjective experience of color becomes more vivid. The ventral visual stream, responsible for object recognition and color processing, shows enhanced sensitivity. Blues seem bluer, greens greener, as your perception is freed from the dulling effects of stress and distraction. The brain's capacity for counterfactual thinking, imagining how things could have been different, becomes less ruminative with meditation. The medial prefrontal cortex and hippocampus, involved in mental time travel and scenario building, maintain their function but with less emotional charge. You can learn from past mistakes without being haunted by endless what-ifs. Your brain's response to temperature regulation is influenced by meditation. The hypothalamus, which maintains body temperature, can be consciously influenced through certain meditation practices. Advanced practitioners in some traditions can generate significant body heat or maintain warmth in cold conditions, demonstrating remarkable voluntary control over usually automatic processes. Meditation affects your brain's processing of ownership and possessiveness. The medial prefrontal cortex and posterior parietal cortex, involved in self-other discrimination and agency, show altered patterns that correlate with reduced attachment to possessions. Material things become tools and resources rather than extensions of identity requiring protection. The brain's interpretation of social norms and moral rules becomes more nuanced with meditation. The ventromedial prefrontal cortex, which processes values and social norms, maintains ethical sensitivity while reducing rigid rule following. You become better at understanding the spirit rather than just the letter of ethical guidelines, responding to specific situations with wisdom rather than mere compliance. Your brain's capacity for generativity, creating new ideas and solutions, is enhanced by meditation. The default mode network, when freed from ruminative self-focus, can engage in productive mind-wandering. The temporal cortex and prefrontal regions involved in creative thinking show increased connectivity, allowing novel combinations of existing knowledge to emerge spontaneously. Meditation influences your brain's response to touch and physical contact. The somatosensory cortex becomes more sensitive and precise in its processing of tactile information. A gentle touch is felt more fully, textures reveal more detail, and the comfort of physical contact deepens. This enhanced tactile sensitivity can enrich relationships and deepen appreciation for physical embodiment. The brain's processing of voice and prosody, the emotional coloring of speech, is enhanced by meditation. The superior temporal sulcus, which extracts emotional content from voice tone, becomes more sensitive. You become better at hearing not just words but the feelings behind them, the subtle cues that reveal another person's true state beyond their literal message. Your brain's capacity for what researchers call cognitive reserve manifests not just in maintaining function despite damage but in finding creative workarounds when usual pathways are blocked. Meditation builds this adaptive capacity by strengthening alternative routes and creating redundancy in important networks. Your brain becomes more like a city with many roads rather than one highway. Your brain has been listening to this entire journey, not just with your ears but with your entire being. Each word has activated neural patterns, each concept has created connections, each moment of awareness has reinforced the pathways of calm. The wisdom shared here isn't outside you, it's already becoming part of your neural architecture. As sleep approaches or as you rest in this liminal space, you can release all conscious effort to remember or understand. Your brain will keep what serves you and let the rest dissolve. The transformation isn't in the accumulation of facts but in the lived experience of presence, of awareness, of allowing your brain's natural wisdom to guide you toward balance. Rest now in the confidence that your brain knows exactly what it needs. Trust in the process that has sustained human consciousness for millennia, the simple practice of returning to this moment, this breath, this awareness that has always been here, waiting patiently for you to remember it. And in this remembering, in this coming home to yourself, may you find peace that surpasses understanding, rest that restores completely, an awakening to a new day where the seeds of calm planted tonight continue to blossom. Sleep deeply, dear friend. Your brain is already healing, already integrating, already becoming the foundation for a calmer, more aware tomorrow. May your rest be profound, your dreams be peaceful, and your waking be filled with the gentle clarity that meditation brings. And so, dear friend, we've traveled far together through the intricate landscape of your brain. We've journeyed through valleys of neurotransmitters and climbed mountains of gray matter. We've explored ancient structures deep in your brainstem and ventured into the newest regions of your prefrontal cortex. And through it all, a simple truth has emerged, again and again, like a bell quietly ringing. Your brain knows how to find peace. Let's rest here for a few more moments, gently gathering the threads of understanding we've woven together across these many hours. Not to memorize or to grasp, but simply to appreciate the wholeness of what we've discovered. We began with a single breath, and we learned that this simple act, bringing awareness to breathing, creates a bridge between your conscious mind and your automatic nervous system. This bridge is always available. Right now, your breath is breathing itself, and yet you can also choose to notice it, to guide it, to make it deeper or slower or simply to observe it with kind attention. In that moment of noticing, your brain waves begin to shift. The rapid beta waves of active thinking slow into the gentler alpha rhythms of calm awareness. Continue deeper, and theta waves emerge, those slower oscillations that characterize meditation and light sleep, the states where consciousness and unconsciousness begin to dance together. Your brain is exquisitely designed for this journey from activity to rest. We discovered how meditation reshapes your brain's very structure. The amygdala, that ancient alarm system deep within your temporal lobes, actually becomes smaller with regular practice. Not because you're ignoring danger, but because your brain is learning to distinguish between genuine threats and passing discomforts, between true emergencies and the endless small worries that modern life presents. At the same time, your hippocampus grows denser and stronger. This seahorse-shaped structure, so crucial for memory and emotional regulation, gains new neurons and thicker tissue. It's as though meditation prunes away unnecessary alarm systems while cultivating the gardens of awareness and balance. Your prefrontal cortex, that most human part of your brain, strengthens its connections downward to emotional centers. This creates what neuroscientists call top-down regulation, the ability to respond to feelings with wisdom rather than being hijacked by automatic reactions. You gain space between stimulus and response, a pause where choice becomes possible. We explored the chemistry of calm, discovering how meditation reduces cortisol, that stress hormone that keeps your body tensed for action. We learned about GABA, your brain's natural tranquilizer, increasing with each session of mindful awareness. Serotonin stabilizes your mood like ballast in a ship, while endorphins create natural feelings of well-being, all produced by your own brain's internal pharmacy. The default mode network, that restless narrator constantly spinning stories about self, quiets during meditation. The endless internal commentary, the me, my, mind that can feel so exhausting, finally takes a rest. And in that quieting, you discover a more spacious sense of self, less defended, less separate, more connected to the wider field of awareness. Your vagus nerve, that wandering pathway connecting brain to body, grows stronger and more toned with meditation. Higher vagal tone means better heart rate variability, improved digestion, enhanced immune function, and most importantly, a nervous system that can shift more easily between activation and rest. You become more resilient, better able to meet life's challenges and then recover. We journeyed through the glymphatic system, discovering how meditation enhances your brain's ability to clear metabolic waste, protecting against neurodegeneration. We explored neuroplasticity, that magnificent truth that your brain can rewire itself at any age, creating new neural pathways based on your experiences and practices. The blood flow patterns in your brain shift with meditation, directing more oxygen and nutrients to regions involved in awareness and peace while reducing flow to areas associated with stress and rumination. Your brain becomes more efficient, using less energy to achieve greater calm. We discovered changes at the molecular level, genes switching on and off, telomeres being preserved, mitochondria functioning more efficiently. Meditation reaches all the way down to your DNA, influencing which genetic potentials are expressed and which remain dormant. Your capacity for attention transforms through practice. The anterior cingulate cortex strengthens, helping you maintain focus and notice when your mind has wandered. But this isn't the strained concentration of forcing attention, it's the relaxed alertness of allowing attention to rest where you choose, gently returning when it wanders, as it naturally will. Emotional regulation becomes more skillful as meditation strengthens connections between prefrontal regions and the amygdala. Feelings still arise, joy and sorrow, peace and agitation, but you gain the capacity to experience them fully without being overwhelmed, to feel without being controlled by feeling. Social cognition blossoms as mirror neurons become more responsive and the temporoparietal junction enhances your ability to understand others' perspectives. Empathy deepens while empathic distress decreases. You become more connected to others while maintaining healthy boundaries. Pain processing changes as meditation teaches your brain to experience sensations without immediately layering suffering onto them. The raw data of discomfort can be observed with curiosity rather than met with fear and resistance. This doesn't eliminate pain, but it transforms your relationship to it. Time itself becomes more fluid during meditation. The parietal regions that create your sense of being a separate self located in time show reduced activity. Past and future loosen their grip, and the present moment expands into something more spacious, more rich with possibility. We learned about the corpus callosum strengthening, creating better communication between left and right brain hemispheres. Analytical thinking and intuitive knowing integrate more fully. Logic and creativity learn to work together rather than competing. The insula thickens, enhancing interoception, your ability to sense what's happening inside your body. You become more attuned to subtle signals, better able to know when you're truly hungry or just seeking comfort, when you need rest or are avoiding difficulty, when your body is asking for attention. Neurogenesis continues throughout your life, and meditation creates optimal conditions for new neurons to be born, particularly in the hippocampus. Your brain maintains its capacity to learn, adapt, and grow, regardless of age. Sleep itself improves as meditation regulates circadian rhythms and enhances melatonin production. The very practice that brings calm to waking hours also prepares the way for deep, restorative rest. And perhaps most profoundly, we discovered that meditation changes your relationship to change itself. By revealing the constant flux of thoughts, sensations, and emotions, meditation helps you understand at a deep level that everything passes, nothing is permanent, and resisting this truth creates suffering while accepting it brings peace. All of these changes, all of these transformations, emerge from the simplest of practices, returning attention to the present moment, again and again, with patience and kindness. No special equipment needed, no advanced degrees required, no peak experiences necessary. Just this breath, this moment, this gentle awareness. Your brain has been shaped by millions of years of evolution to survive, to detect threats, to remember dangers, to plan for scarcity. These are magnificent capacities that have kept humanity alive through countless challenges. But in our modern world, these same capacities can keep us locked in stress, always scanning for problems, never fully resting. Meditation doesn't fight against evolution. It works with your brain's natural plasticity to create new patterns, healthier defaults, more balanced responses. It's like teaching an old instrument to play new songs. The instrument remains, but the music changes. And here's what's truly beautiful: this transformation isn't something you have to force or achieve. It emerges naturally when you create the right conditions. When you sit quietly, breathe consciously, and observe with kind attention, your brain does what it's designed to do. It learns, adapts, and moves toward balance. You don't have to believe these facts for them to be true. You don't have to remember every detail for the wisdom to integrate. Simply by listening tonight, by resting in awareness, you've already begun to experience meditation's gifts. Seeds have been planted that will continue growing in ways you may not even notice, subtle shifts that will blossom over time. Perhaps tomorrow you'll find yourself pausing before reacting to frustration. Perhaps next week you'll notice stress dissolving more quickly after challenges. Perhaps in months to come, you'll realize that the baseline of your inner experience has shifted toward greater calm, Not because you achieved something, but because you allowed something. You allowed your brain's natural wisdom to emerge. This is the ultimate truth we've explored tonight. Peace isn't something you create, but something you uncover. It's always been there, beneath the noise and rush, waiting patiently like bedrock under soil. Meditation doesn't manufacture calm. It removes the obstacles to the calm that's your deepest nature. Your brain, right now, in this very moment, is already perfect in its capacity for awareness. Already whole in its ability to heal. Already complete in its potential for transformation. You need not go anywhere or become anyone other than who you are. Simply rest in the recognition that you are awareness itself, temporarily identifying with thoughts and sensations but never limited to them. As you drift now towards sleep, or as you rest in this twilight space between waking and dreaming, let go of every word you've heard tonight. Let go of every fact, every explanation, every concept. They've done their work. They've pointed you toward truth, but truth itself is found not in understanding but in being, not in knowledge but in presence. Feel your breath moving softly through you. Notice the quiet darkness behind your closed eyes. Sense the gentle weight of your body at rest. This is meditation. This is peace. This is your brain's natural state when you stop struggling and simply allow yourself to be. Thank you for taking this journey. Thank you for giving yourself these hours of rest and exploration. Thank you for honoring your brain's need for calm, your heart's longing for peace, your soul's desire for understanding. May the wisdom we've explored together continue to unfold within you, in dreams and in waking, in quiet moments and in the midst of activity. May your brain's remarkable capacity for transformation serve your deepest well-being. May you know, beyond all doubt, that peace is always available, always just a breath away, always here in this eternal now. Rest deeply, dear friend. Your brain knows the way home. Trust it. Surrender to it. Allow it to carry you into the healing darkness of sleep, where restoration happens beyond all conscious effort, where your neurons reorganize themselves, where memories consolidate and integration occurs, where you are held in the loving arms of your own body's wisdom. And when you wake, whenever that may be, may you rise gently into a new day, carrying with you the quiet understanding that your brain, this magnificent, mysterious, 3-pound universe, is always capable of returning to calm, always able to find balance, always ready to begin again. Sleep well. Dream peacefully. Wake gently. And remember, you are awareness itself, vast as the sky, and every thought, every feeling, every sensation is just weather passing through. Rest now in that infinite space. Rest in your true nature.